Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House, and you can find us on YouTube at Joey143Jenny. So today I'm back to show you the results from the little trivet trays that I was covering with the CATHE Holden papers. And I primarily wanted to do them so that I could put these little die cuts in them when I'm working on journals or just working on any ephemera decorations or whatever, so I could just sprinkle them out. And so I thought what I would do is show you some things that probably would do different next time. So I hope that you have all of these. You can get them at Spellbinders. This wonderful fabric is from Cathe's Junk Journal collection, which is one of her newest ones. I hope you'll go and get that as well. These are from the packs that I used, and of course I need to put my scraps back. I savor and save all of those. I need to cut this one off just so that I can put it in my own journal until I get my CATHE Holden journal done. And okay, I'm going to tuck that in there. So I did use majority of the paper from this pack. And this is the Floral Palette Sampler. And then there's the Blue-Green Palette Sampler. And the Naturals Palette Sampler. So, all right. So what you may remember is I was working on this one when we were doing this. And I wanted to try to see what it would be like to use the acrylic medium matte gel as the adhesive on it versus using the Mod Podge. And so what I had done is, first of all, I bought these little trivet trays that are kind of stackable. I bought those at the used to be dollar store. I don't know what it's called now, Dollar Tree or something like that. And I painted them just with the areas that you could see and all of the joints. I painted them with this Raw Umber Americana acrylic paint. And the only reason I painted it with this is I wanted a darker color to kind of hide some imperfections, which thankfully I did use. There's a lot of imperfections that happened, but also because I had it in my stash, so I used it. So this is the one that I did the acrylic medium matte gel. We cut out these pieces together and these pieces, and I would not do that again. I would not use this again as an adhesive like this. A couple of reasons. One, it dried so fast. It's not really what it's intended for, and but I just thought, oh, I'm going to give it a try and see if it works any better than Mod Podge. So it dries really, really quick. And another thing is it is, I don't know another word for it, but kind of glunky. Like it wherever you maybe do an extra brush over and you leave a line, it's going to glump up and it becomes a little bit rubbery. So what my plan was is to glue it down, then go back over all the pieces, and then let that dry and then sand off, etc. But I sanded so much that my poor little emery board, I used this emery board, and then I used a coarser emery board, and this just came in a little manicure set. My hands are dyed, sorry. I ended up having to use this quite a bit because that matte gel was so, I don't know, it just clumped up everywhere. Then I went back and used my vintage photo to just kind of hide some of the imperfections, which is totally fine. I was planning on doing that, roughing it up and doing that anyways. But what ended up happening is I ended up having to go back over it and creating this really dark area, which is fine. It's just instead of looking antiqued, it looks more grungy. It's fine. It's okay. The feel is very different. It's a little bit, it doesn't feel super secure. It feels like you could scratch it scratch the paper off easily. It doesn't feel cured, if that makes sense. It kind of reminds me of if you've ever painted your fingernails and then you put another layer of fingernail polish over before the undercoat is nice and dry. And then even though that top layer may feel dry, you know that it's easy to chip. That's what it reminds me of. But we're going to let it air dry even more. Continue to let it air dry. And I'll show you the second one that I did. This one I did completely with Mod Podge. I would totally do it again. I used the matte in this case. I love the matte. And it was so fast and easy. And it doesn't dry super quick while you're working with it. So it does have a little bit of grace period in there. But once you get everything into place, it really does dry very quickly. So I would say I did this one in half of the time I did this one. I did the same process. You know, I adhered this down. You can see I still have some areas I need to, you know, when I see them, to go over it. But I just adhered it down. It didn't bubble up or do anything like that. And then afterwards, I took my handy dandy fingernail file that I've been using forever, and I just went across. I go at a diagonal, at a bias to get that off, and it just helps to get that off nice and clean. And then I went back over with this anywhere that showed white, and it just turned out wonderful. It feels nice and secure, and really it feels like it's ready to go. And I just did this literally an hour ago. And this one I did, as you remember, I did this yesterday. This one is well over 12 hours done, almost, let's see, 24 hours actually. And it still feels a little, you know, not super great. So, I mean, it's dry, but like I said, it kind of feels like, could that scratch very easily? So here was my intent, is to use these as I'm decorating. I like to dump these out. And I know some people put these in their ephemera kit, in their ephemera books, but I like to dump them in here and rummage around and thumb through them and just see, you know, what I have. And I find that to be, for me, part of the fun of decorating is, you know, looking through it like that. There are some things that I do put, as you've seen in my ephemera book, like I'll put my butterflies, and I'll put my, what else do I put in? Like my birds and things like that. But until I get a full CATHE Holden journal and ephemera book made, this is the way that I'll be doing it, because I really like. It's really weird because it seems like when I do it this way that I find something different that I hadn't seen, a time before. Just depending on what you're looking for. Ooh, look at how pretty that is. That's gorgeous. And it's so wonderful. Everything, doesn't matter what kit, everything's going to go with the paper. So, you know, whatever the paper you're using for whatever your crafting is, all of it. Look how wonderful that looks. Like, let's say you made one of these as a gift for somebody. Let's say you used the Mod Podge and did it within an hour. Wrap it in some tissue and use this as your card. Like, you could just put, thanks for having us for dinner, and put this in a little trivet tray for them. How fun would that be? So anything that, in this collection that Cathy's made, it all goes together. It doesn't matter what you pull out and toss in there. It's gonna go. So again, let's say that you wanted to leave a housewarming gift. Maybe you stayed the weekend with someone. You could use something like that. So pretty. So anyways, I hope that inspires you. I wanted to show you the differences in the two mediums that I used. Obviously, this is great for what it's intended for. It says to mix with acrylic paint for a matte finish. So yeah, if that's what you need to do, this is great for that. It dries quickly, but again, that acrylic paint probably helps it stay longer, you know, so you can work with it and make it more pliable. But for this, for what I was doing with this, did not work well for me. So, hope you can learn from my lesson when you do it. And if you do make some of these, or you go over to your hobby store or to the used to be dollar store, and you get some of these little things, or even the little jewelry boxes or the bird houses. They have bird houses, which are adorable. I hope you'll let me know what you make. Thanks everyone for watching and for subscribing and sharing our channel. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it, y'all. Oh, and I want to say a special thank you to the gentleman, the young man that I pulled into Walmart to pick up my groceries that I ordered online. And he said he was going to follow the channel. It's so sweet. Anyways, I don't know if he's watching, but I just want to say special shout out and thank you for sharing and watching and subscribing to the channel. All right, everybody, blessings to everyone. Have a great rest of the day.